Ethereum developer lands in prison and crypto investors are psychopaths. Ethereum developer gets 5 years in prison for teaching North Korea skirt sanctions using crypto. An Ethereum engineer who gave a lecture on how to use blockchain technology in North Korea was sentenced to 63 months in prison. Cryptocurrency expert Virgil Griffith will pay a $100,000 fine for assisting North Koreans in evading US sanctions through the use of cryptocurrencies. Today we're going to talk all about why an Ethereum developer is arrested and what's the reaction of crypto investors. So let's get right to it. Virgil Griffith, former Ethereum developer, has been sentenced to 5 years in prison for collaborating with North Korea. The United States forbids its nationals from traveling to North Korea unless they have special permission. His presentation, according to the US Department of Justice, gave the Kim Jong-un leadership with technical advice on leverage Bitcoin, Ethereum, and blockchain technologies to circumvent sanctions. According to the Inner City Press, Judge Castell stated on Tuesday, Virgil Griffith has no ideology. He'll play off both sides as long as he's at the center. I sentence him to 63 months in prison and a fine of $100,000. To avoid prosecution under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, which prevents US citizens from exporting goods, services, or technology to sanctioned countries like North Korea, Griffith, 39, agreed to plead guilty to one count of the charge in September. Griffith, a Wikipedia contributor, was arrested in November 2019 after giving a discussion at the Pyongyang Blockchain and Cryptocurrency Conference in April of that year. To him, the travel to the north was well within his rights as a technical expert promoting Ethereum and blockchain knowledge and encouraging others to participate in mining and trading digital currency. The feds, on the other hand, interpreted it as an American advising militant criminals in dictator Kim's Democratic People's Republic of Korea how to avoid economic sanctions and store funds in order to manufacture nuclear missiles that endanger the world. Federal prosecutors accused the former Ethereum Foundation researcher of compromising US diplomacy and undermining economic sanctions aimed at putting pressure on a hostile foreign state. What you see here is an intentionality and a desire to educate people on how to evade international sanctions, Castell said. Despite the fact that the offense carried a potential penalty of 20 years in prison, Griffith's plea agreement with federal prosecutors reduced the sentence to a range of 63 to 78 months, roughly 5 to 6.5 years. Griffith has previously been imprisoned for over 2 years, but he was released on bail for 14 of those months. The remaining 10 months will be counted as time served by the court. The federal judge claims that a rise in the value of his Bitcoin and Ethereum assets provided him with the means and motive to flee. He was apparently apprehended while attempting to access his Coinbase account. North Korea has been hacking cryptocurrency-related companies for years to generate revenue for the dictatorship, despite the threat of harsh international sanctions. According to a United Nations probe, Kim's hackers stole $316.4 million in virtual assets from 2019 to 2020 to support North Korea's weapons of mass destruction and ballistic missiles programs. Virgil Griffith admitted to sharing information with the North Korean government explicitly aimed at helping dodge sanctions. The former hacker also once presented at a crypto conference in Pyongyang in front of a sign reading, "No sanctions," with a smiley face. Zooming out, the sentencing occurred against the backdrop of widespread concern that Russia could use crypto to minimize the impact of sanctions. Last month, the Biden administration reportedly asked cryptocurrency exchanges to help prevent Russia from using cryptos to evade sanctions. What this means is the judge in the case cited current US sanctions imposed on Russia to justify harsh sentences to deter others from violating sanctions laws. The decentralized and largely anonymous nature of cryptos like Bitcoin means governments can potentially use them to flout sanctions. Following Russia's invasion of Ukraine, the sharp contrast between the falling price of the Russian ruble and the rising price of some cryptos stoked fears that the latter was being used to bypass the economic blockade. The US is clamping down on those using crypto for illegal activities. Earlier this year, Securities and Exchange Commissioner Hester Peirce noted that she sees a lot of working guidance occurring through enforcement rather than through new legislation. Crypto can't ditch its image problem. well-publicized controversies, its association with the dark web, and criticism from prominent figures haven't helped with crypto's image problem. Digital assets' growing popularity coincides with mounting fears of their use for shady practices. China Analysis reported that crypto-based crimes reached a record global high in 2021, with users losing a total of $14 billion, almost double from 2020. In the absence of direct US crypto regulations, firms and individuals that fail to self-regulate risk increasingly aggressive retribution from those enforcing the space. Also, US authorities this week tied North Korean hackers to the historic $625 million Axie Infinity crypto swindle, with the massive hack signifying the emergence of a new type of national security threat, according to a blockchain expert. On Thursday, the US Treasury Department added an Ethereum wallet address to its sanctions list after the wallet facilitated transfers for more than $86 million of the stolen funds. The hacking outfits Lazarus and APT-38, both linked to North Korea, were behind the theft, the FBI said in a statement, and the funds are generating revenue for Kim Jong-un's regime. Ari Redboard, head of Legal and Government Affairs at blockchain research firm TRM, says the attack shows that even a nation as isolated as North Korea can participate in new age cyber warfare. Over the last few years, many hacks have been perpetrated by North Korea, Redboard told Insider. But the magnitude of this one shows things have moved from small exploits to true national security concerns. It's staggering. Bank robbery at the speed of the internet. For years, North Korean actors have been responsible for cyber attacks, including a high-profile hit against Sony in 2014. But groups like Lazarus have grown increasingly sophisticated and ambitious. Meanwhile, businesses within the nascent crypto sector are still finding their footing when it comes to crypto security, which makes them vulnerable to hacking groups which are continuously honing their tactics. North Korea realized a hack against an online retailer was one thing, but going after crypto exchanges is a more effective way to fund destabilizing activity at a very low cost to them, Redboard said. The country was an early adopter of cryptocurrency money laundering, he added, and there's no sign its bad actors will slow their effort since it's proven to be extremely profitable. What's more, Redboard noted that social engineering attacks such as the Axie Infinity infiltration are becoming more advanced. These hacks aren't a consequence of simple mass phishing emails, he exclaimed, but nuanced and targeted strikes on specific individuals. While North Korea has an extremely small economic and limited infrastructure, it's proven it can participate in cyber warfare at a scale similar to global superpowers like the US and China. The Axie Infinity hack in particular reinforced Redboard's belief that the scale of digital attacks are climbing at such a rate that a new type of warfare is emerging. Over the last year or so, we've moved from a post-9/11 world into a new digital battlefield, Redboard said. Nation-state actors know to go after crypto businesses to fund real weapon proliferation. It's not just some hackers trying to fund a lifestyle. North Korea's use of the group Lazarus confirms that the country's isolated status and lack of modern infrastructure doesn't hold it back from participating in cyber warfare on the world stage, Redboard explained. The cryptocurrency industry is an excellent target for those attacks because of the volume of transactions and funds being moved every day, but also because the businesses aren't fully mature and may still be developing their own cybersecurity protocols. So that's all for today. We would like to mention that this is not a channel intended specifically to provide financial advice, and we don't ask you to invest in any company. This is merely a channel directed towards bringing educational content to your doorstep. With that in mind, before you invest in anything, we recommend you do thorough research on the topic. We hope you liked this video. Let us know your comments below, and make sure to subscribe and give us the thumbs up. And we'll see you next time at the EdPreneur.